Hey everybody, my name is Paul Esden Jr., aka Boy Green. Welcome to my YouTube channel. We're also here streaming live on the Heavy on Jets Facebook page, a great community. If you haven't seen it and you're on Facebook, go give it a like right now. Articles, podcasts, and so much more, so make sure you check it out there. We're streaming live on my Twitter account, at BoyGreen25, the verified blue check mark. Feel free to hit the follow button there. And, of course, live right now on youtube.com/BoyGreen25. Baby, we got a win. It's been a long time. The Jets have only had 3 of them all year, but they get their 3rd win and first win on the road, baby. Road Warriors. They get their first win on the road this season, beating the Houston Texans 21-14. Mwah! Chef's kiss. A lot to discuss, a lot to talk about. A couple of things here. First off, wherever you are, give us a thumbs up. Show your support wherever you're watching. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Drop your comments down below, and we will get to them throughout today's show. Whether you have hot takes, whether or not you have questions, anything and everything, drop it in the comments. We'll get to it throughout today's show. Again, right there in the postgame. Also, one last shout out. You can follow me on all social media at BoyGreen25, B-O-Y, green the color, 25. And Zach Wilson, it's his first time coming back after a month away. He had the PCL strain, and you know what? He looked rusty. He looked terrible. He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. I mean, that's how he started. There was little dinky throws he couldn't get. The protection up front wasn't great. Elijah Vera Tucker got blown up on one. Zach Wilson turns around. Booyah. He gets smooth pavement. What happened there as well. So protection was a little bit of a question mark. The rust was certainly there for Zach Wilson. And I do have to make a public apology. In the middle of the game on the Zach Wilson interception, I went like, Ty Johnson, what are you doing, man? Where's the awareness to catch the football? Initially, I blamed Ty Johnson, but after seeing multiple angles, I have to say, poor decision by Zach Wilson, trying to do too much. Okay, he turned the ball up and tried to carry it and try to make some moves. So Ty Johnson's like, "Oh, okay, you're gonna run it. I'm gonna go run block for you." And then last second, Zach Wilson's like, "Here you go," and it kind of doinks up, gets intercepted. So terrible decision there by Zach Wilson. But what I will tell you with what I liked from Mr. Zach Wilson is fighting back. Also, major shout out Mike LaFleur. Finally, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to go this far. We have the best offensive coordinator in my life. No Schottenheimer, no Chan Gailey, although that 2015 wasn't bad. But you get the point. We had all kinds of nonsense at offensive coordinator. Mike LaFleur, baby, very nice. Ever since the bye, adjustments. Zach Wilson struggling at the beginning of the game. And guess what he says? Michael LaFleur's like, turn the cab backwards. Let me see what I can do. And the doctor was cooking in the kitchen. So thank goodness for old Mike LaFleur's adjustments there in the middle of the game to get Zach Wilson involved in the offense, because there was a moment in this game where it could have blown wide open. The Texans are up 14-3. And I saw Rich Cimini tweeted out, "Oh boy, it could be a Texans blowout win." And I'm like, guys, let's hold down the fort here. Let's try to figure it out. So huge shout out to Mike LaFleur. And speaking of shout outs, before we get to all the comments that are coming in, again, wherever you're watching, drop them down below. But what about that defense, though? Finally, you know, we've had these weeks where we analyze the game heading into it, and we say, wow, a mismatch on paper between opposing team's offensive line and the Jets' defensive line. But then it was kaput. It was like nothing over these past couple weeks. Now, this time, another weakness. This time, the Jets took advantage. Let's give a golf clap to John Franklin Myers. A couple of sacks, held that pick where he batted up and ran after it and caught it. Good assist to himself. And got a couple of yardage after that, like 30 yards and change. So way to go, John Franklin Myers. Quinnen Williams with the greatest sack celebration I've ever seen. Going Karate Kid, going crane kick. Hashtag Pro Bowl vote. Anyone else? Anywho, I digress. I got a couple of notes and quotes here, but let's get to the comments from wherever they're coming in. Again, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Let's get Chad Foreman. Let's do it, baby. The Jets chant. Jets, 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 Jets. That's a dub, baby. That's a victory. Put it in the column. Thank you very much. Love it, Chad, for that. Let's go back to Steve Krasinski. I love it when I'm wrong and the Jets win. A win is a win, baby. You're damn right. And we've said this before because, again, it's been a long time since the Jets had that win. That was the Mike White crazy game against the Cincinnati Bengals at home. This is the first road win, by the way, of the season for the Jets. They were able to conquer a couple demons. First off, just winning any game. We wrote that column on Saturday. And then, of course, winning a road game, the first one. Some real chutzpah. I know Houston isn't great, but you know what? A win is a win. And Houston was showing some real chutzpah there for a little bit. So a huge shout out to this Jets team for finding a way to make it happen. So great stuff there, Steve. Jacob, Wilson is bad. Well, I'll tell you this. Wilson looked bad. There was no question about it. There was rust. And guess what? There's going to be rust. He hasn't played in a month, and he just gets randomly installed into the offense. I know he had a couple weeks of practice, but again, practice in the game, live simulation, there's no way to perfectly replicate it. But Zach Wilson did look bad. No question about it. There was a god-awful pick. He was missing easy throws. But the thing, again, that I love is that he adjusted. He had a great throw to Ryan Griffin in the end zone. Should have been caught. Ryan Griffin dropped it. It could have been a little higher too, but Wilson. But again, Griffin's a professional, should have caught that ball. So Zach Wilson had a lot of missed throws. But again, ultimately, I thought he ended it on a very good note. And then, again, blessed be he. Let's do our holy prayer all together here. Zach Wilson came up a little gimpy when he got seemingly hurt. It looked like he re-aggravated that PCL strain, same knee. And ultimately, Zach Wilson, Josh Johnson's warming up on the sideline. We're like, oh no, more injuries for Zach Wilson, but he maintains and stays in the game. Josh Johnson did not come in the game. Outside of that 2-point conversion, that is, whoa, Mike LaFleur getting a little froggy, getting a little crazy. It's like, hey, everything's working. Let me just throw Josh Johnson in there for a 2-point conversion. Okay, Mikey, I see you, Mike. I see you. But I will say, Jacob, that I don't believe we can just give this overarching take that Wilson is bad or good. It's a 7 start, man. I mean, quite frankly, to expect perfection would be wild. Let's go to Well, Zach Wilson himself on YouTube. Okay, couldn't watch a game this week. How did Zach do? Well, Zach Wilson, you did okay, but it was very bad at first. Again, there was signs of rust. There was the terrible interception. He looked like he was thinking too much, and they talked about it on the broadcast during the game, that when things go south for Zach Wilson, he starts like overthinking things, going, oh man, I got to change things. What do I got to do? And he gets a little crazy, a little hectic. But I think the thing that was great is you have John Beck, who's that calming presence, they called him on the sideline, and really just, okay, whoa, things haven't gone great, but that's life. Sometimes things don't go exactly according to plan. And you got to rein it in. Bring it on home, Betsy. Bring it on home. And that's what they did. So Zach Wilson started off very awry, very questionable. And then ultimately, I thought he bounced back very nicely. Some great plays to Elijah Moore. That's what we like to see, certainly. I think Mike LaFleur cooked some good things up, and they were pretty conservative with him coming back from what we thought was a re-aggravation of the injury. We'll have to wait to hear from Robert Saleh after this contest in the postgame presser to see if there's anything more to that. We probably won't have an official update on that until Monday at Robert Saleh's presser as they do further tests if that's necessary. By the way, no doctor touched Zach Wilson. It was all communication. He was telling them about how the knee felt and things of that nature. So a very positive sign, I might add. Let's get to this, Mitch, and you nailed it here. Jets better sign Quincy Williams. I tweeted it during the game, but I have to say this. I get Quincy Williams is not a perfect player. He is not. No question about it, and people have criticized him left and right for the pass coverage issues. With that being said, Quincy Williams is a goddamn beast. This guy is a freak of nature. He doesn't care who he hits, but he's going to hit whoever that is as hard as physically possible. This man is a gosh darn machine. I mean, the hit power, the instincts, this guy can be at a minimum a role player on this team. The play that I loved was the 3rd and 6 pressure play where he's used as a blitzer. He's got speed. He's got explosiveness. He's got general chutzpah. And this guy, again, I think he has this infectious energy with the rest of the team. I love that on 3rd and 6 where it was almost like Moses split the Red Sea with the left tackle jumping out for one pass rusher, the guard coming inside, and it was hallelujah. And Quincy Williams ran right through that, and he was a heat-seeking missile and nailed Tyrod Taylor. And he's just a great high motor guys. So I love it. Let's sign Quincy Williams. He's young. He's not perfect, but he's a piece of clay that I like to continue to develop. And again, use him in sub packages, use him in all kinds of things. I think he's a talented player. Mitch, you nailed it. I love Quincy Williams, man. I love Quincy Williams. Okay, let's go back to Jacob here. Wow, this is a story. Terrible short to mid-range pass accuracy, lack of pocket awareness, lack of field awareness, inability to read defenses, stares down his receivers he's going to throw to. He's not good. More of the same stuff we saw pre-injury. Jacob, again, I won't lie. It wasn't perfect, but again, this is his 7th start in his rookie season. Not everyone's been great. Look at Trevor Lawrence. Look like trash. Look at all these guys. Trey Lance, again, MIA. It's hard to tell because he hasn't really played as much. But Justin Fields has looked terrible. Now, Mac Jones looked great, but they're New England. They have this wizardry going on over there. And, again, he hasn't been perfect by any means. So, again, Jacob, fair point, said he hasn't looked great. But, again, to me, 7th start. He hasn't played in a month. I'm going to be a little lax here. I'm not going to throw him over the edge and start lacing him up with all kinds of, swear words and whatnot. But, again, I think it deserves some love. Zach Wilson, how much credit does Zach Wilson get today in terms of for the win? Here's the thing. I think the defense stepped up to a massive level. This is the first time we've seen this defensive line just explode since Cincinnati, or even go back to the Tennessee game. Again, you had Ronnie Blair getting in, John Franklin Myers, Quincy Williams, as we mentioned. I mean, it was just intensity and ferocity. This defense has been laced from the New England blowout, and they've been questioned. Their manhood has been questioned. Yet, despite all of that, they finally stepped up on the road against Houston. Again, a subpar offensive line, but hey, you don't pick who you play. You just got to show up and play. So for me, in terms of how much credit he's going to get, I don't think he's number 1. I don't know if he's number 2. He's on the list. I thought it was more good than bad, but again, there was some bad on there. No question about it. But again, the defense for me was nice. Mike LaFleur, I think, deserves a lot of pop as well. So again, I wouldn't go crazy, but I do think he deserves some credit, certainly, for what happened. And simply from Braden, yay! Yay! Yeah, so Jets win. Here's another fun fact, as we're just kind of flowing here on the postgame show. The Jets already have more wins now than they had all of last year. What do you do with that information? I'm not sure. But guess what? They got the dub. So yay! Yay! Let's spread the love. Let's go to WTF. Where's the flag? Zach looked rough on the short pass. I hope he gets them down. And I think he will. Again, he's talented enough to throw it deep. He should be good enough to hit it short. We've seen it in college. I think, again, it's just reining it in and calming down a bit. Let's keep going here. Let's go back to Mitch. The young secondary looked quite good. I get it. The Texans suck, but hey, the coverage was awesome. Receivers made some awesome catches. Yeah, the Brandon Cooks one. Again, it was just kind of a foot race between him and Bryce Hall. Bryce Hall was just kind of gauging to see whether he's going to cut across the middle or what. And then they just had a foot race. And Bryce Hall, got in a good enough position from a recovery standpoint, but a phenomenal catch there by Brandon Cooks. Same thing on that short play where Brandon Cooks kind of made the crazy catch. Again, there's been some good coverage, so a good opportunity there, certainly for the secondary. Again, I like Michael Carter II. I like Bryce Hall. The safeties are a huge major question mark, and the opposite starting cornerback position where Isaiah Dunn had to come into the game again. There's some questions there, but I do like a couple of the pieces, so I think there is some to build with. Gustavo, nice win. Would be sweeter if you would have beaten Miami. I will say this, just kind of a random fact on this Jets-Dolphins stuff. Again, great win today, obviously. We're talking about it. I don't have a hatred towards the Dolphins. The rivalry isn't what it used to be, Marino and Ken O'Brien and everything like that. So I don't hate the Dolphins, okay? I hate the Patriots with a fiery passion. But I've heard a lot of Jet fans reach out to me recently and say, I hate the Dolphins almost more than the Patriots. And I don't quite get that. Again, maybe it just stems from that rivalry back from the 80s, and it's just that fire keeps on heating. But that rivalry isn't what it used to be. So for me, I don't want to lose to the Dolphins any more than the next guy, but I'm going to be honest. I don't hate the Dolphins. Fish, win, lose, I don't care. But when we play them, of course, try to go get the dub for sure. All right, let's see. Let's keep it. Again, this is Jacob. Keep coming in here, but I'll play the comments. Again, I'm not hiding from these. We can't blame the offensive line, offensive play calling. He should have thrown at least 3 picks. If it weren't for Texans, Butterfinger, defensive backs, White would have. Oh, okay. This is where we're going to. No. White would not have let Houston up. Mike, let me just get this Mike White thing off my chest. So let me just hide this for a second, Jacob. I need to get this off my chest. People, Mike White, it was an awesome story. We celebrated it when it happened. You heard the post game. You could go back and watch a video if you want. Mike White was great. Wow, he beat Cincinnati. He was in the Hall of Fame for a week. Great. But guess what? What Mike White proved is that he is a capable spot starter. That's it. That's all he is. Okay, he played Buffalo, a really good defense, and he sucked. Not only did he suck, he was terrible. Terrible. Okay, people, Mike White is a fine guy. Fine. Maybe he could be the long-term backup here. That'd be great. But that's it. There's nothing else there. Stop trying to Tom Brady me. I'm not saying you are here, Jacob, but you kind of are by saying White would have lit up Houston. That's bullshit, to be honest with you. No, he wouldn't have. Okay, Mike White is a long-term backup. That's all he is. He's a spot starter in a pinch, can step in and play. The Hollywood script is over. Okay, he's no Tom Brady. He's no nobody. Okay, Zach Wilson is the future. Zach Wilson, okay, you don't want to blame the offensive line, which, by the way, had some questions in this game. The play calling I thought was great, so I'm not blaming the play calling. And could he have thrown a couple of picks? You could say that about any quarterback in any game. Tom Brady had multiple games where he just threw it right to the DB. He dropped it. That's football. Some you drop, some you catch. But the point is, stop with the Mike White nonsense. Mike White had COVID, so he wasn't in this game. What? He wasn't a starter? Wasn't a backup? Wasn't there? So get off the backup quarterback is the most popular guy on the team thing. Mike White sucks. Okay, and now I'm going to because I'm just so amped up about this, I'm going to disclaim that everything that's about to pour out of my mouth is somewhat hyperbolic. Mike White stinks. He was a spot starter. That's all he is. So, Jet fans, I hope you enjoyed the moment. It was cool. I'm glad that we got that Mike White performance against the Bengals instead of Luke Falk, David Fales, or Trevor Siemian. We're not used to this kind of wow, cool story, but it's over. It's over. It's done. It's never happening again. It is over. Okay? Zach Wilson is the future. Mike White can maybe be the long-term backup. That's it. So don't give me any more of this. Mike White couldn't let this up or Mike White couldn't let that. He's never coming back in outside of injury. Ever. Ever. So can we just please get that off the chest? I don't want to make this a hate Mike White video. We should be celebrating. The Jets won. And for the most part, there was relative good health. So people, let's just rein it in, man. All right, let's go to Mitch. D-line was downright filthy, and I mean that in a very good way. Mitch, I feel you. The D-line finally was popping. John Franklin Myers, money well spent, finally. We got some chutzpah there. Thank God. Great to see. Quinnen Williams, he had a great sack, and they were helping each other out. They were feasting with each other. This is what the scheme is supposed to look like. Now, there's been injuries up the wazoo, Carl Lawson, Vinny Curry, etc., but still, the depth and talent on this defensive line should be able to do this on occasion. And at the very least, they should be serviceable from a lot of different perspectives. So they should be number one. The number one reason the Jets got this win is the pass rush. The pass rush kept the Jets in the game when things were going a little south early. And then they held down the fort until the offense figured out their crap. And then the offense got back in and the Jets ended up winning the game. But the defense is the number one reason why the Jets won this game. No other question about it. Going back to Zach Wilson. For Zach Wilson, who did not see the game, Zach Wilson did finish the game well. I thought he had a couple of nice throws, and then after the injury, he stayed in the game. Josh Johnson did not come back into the game. The only time Josh Johnson was in the game was for the two-point conversion. So Zach Wilson, very nice, and he walked out healthy, which, again, seemed concerning in the middle of the game. All right, let's go to Busted Knuckles here. Give the kids some time to get back into rhythm. We know the offense works. Now Zach Wilson just needs to shake off the rust and settle in. And that's the point that I think we should be taking from the backup quarterbacks having success. Josh Johnson having success against the Colts, Mike White against the Bengals, and then Joe Flacco against the Dolphins in spots. The point is, people, is that the backups playing well to me didn't say, oh, wow, pressure on Zach Wilson. It said to me, wow, the offense works. Okay, when a guy is in there, it works. And here's the thing. Those backups all combine to be a SUV to me. If we're going to use car analogies here, I'll put you away, Busted Knuckles, for a second, is that those guys are an SUV. They can get from point A to point B. It may not be 90 miles an hour, but it can get there. Zach Wilson, and the reason why all of you should be so excited about Zach Wilson is he is a Ferrari, okay? He could get from A to B in 3 seconds. Boom, he could get right over there. And that's the potential of the offense. We've seen what the offense could do at a bare minimum. And that should be a great sign to say, hey, once Zach Wilson gets his feet under, he can be fantastic. That's what you need to pull away from the backup stepping in and playing well. Not that Zach Wilson, oh no, pressure on Zach Wilson. Oh, we're about to flip the switch to Joe Flacco. No, that should not be the takeaway. The takeaway is simply, as Busted Knuckles says right here, yes, on YouTube, is give the kid some time to get in a rhythm. He's been gone for a month, people. Let's give him a little bit of a break here. Let's see that as well. WTF, again, good to see Quinn get that sack too. Yes, it was. And again, the sack celebration, very nice. Again, wherever you are on social media, specifically Twitter, hashtag Pro Bowl vote. Let's get Quinn in there. That is a missing piece on the resume. He is having a fantastic year, and he will be eligible for a contract extension after this year and the fifth-year option, which, of course, the Jets are going to exercise. So just a little note there. It's good to Michael here. Got to keep the Williams brothers together. JFM played great today, but I think this game would have been locked away with Carter in on the run. No question, Michael. That is a astute observation. The Jets kind of had to use a bunch of guys. Austin Walter, who? I mean, that's a guy back from the preseason. So shout out to Austin Walter, a couple of clutch runs. And Tevin Coleman. We make fun of Tevin Coleman, but you know what? That kid's got some wheels. It was nice to see some wheels from Mr. Tevin Coleman. Really love that. But I do agree. I think Michael Carter would have been a more consistent guy, and thus he wouldn't have had some of that in the run game. But again, Michael Carter placed on IR on Saturday. He's going to miss a minimum of 3 games now, at least 2 more games after missing the Houston game. But I really like Michael Carter as well. Let's keep rolling here. Go back to Busted Knuckles. I think we found a linebacker with Quincy. He's a good one to develop. He could be good on effort alone. I will say, Busted Knuckles, we will see if he's going to be a full-time starter or the Jets see him as more of a sub-package guy. But regardless, I think he's a usable piece for the future. So shout out to Joe Douglas for that waiver wire claim after the 53-man roster. Let's go to Richie B. Got the W, but the quarterback position is concerned with Wilson. He didn't look like he took any notes when all the backups were cooking. Richie, that is a stern take, again, because that's what we were hoping for is the boring football. But again, let's revisit this. Let's see this. Hopefully Wilson stays healthy. Obviously, knock on wood there. But hopefully, through the next couple of games, you can see that progression. Okay, he gets back into football shape and more of a football rhythm. I'm not ready to crack the whip yet. I'm not ready to do that. I think it is far too early, but you should be like, hey, let's see some progress. So keep that in mind. Let's go to SDA Jets. Is Austin Walter a potential guy or flash in the pan? My initial thought is flash in the pan. I'd love to be wrong, SDA Jets. I'd love to be wrong here, but he is a San Francisco guy, so you have that connection with the scheme and the Shanahan offense and whatnot. Keep an eye on him. He could be a practice squad guy just to kind of keep under wraps, and then you can use him if and when that's necessary, which could be a lot with Michael Carter hurt. But again, I think flash in the pan, but he's got to prove it otherwise. Let's go to that. A huge shout out. Javelin Guidry. I was at the Buffalo game, unfortunately, a couple of weeks ago, and he was getting cooked left and right by Stephon Diggs. I mean, who wouldn't? Stephon Diggs pretty good. But still, Javelin Guidry looked like Garbaggio, and now he's looked really good. So huge shout out. Great pass deflection down the field on a big play on that 3rd down. So huge shout out to Guidry, a big part of the success. Let's go to Simcha. Do you think Zach Wilson gets better from here? I will say this. Yes, I do. I believe in the play. I'm wearing the jersey right now. Zach Wilson needs to prove it ultimately, but there's a reason he was the number 2 overall pick. The success of the backup quarterbacks shows me the offense works. So now it's just going to be on Zach Wilson. I think he needs to get chemistry with Elijah Moore like he had in the offseason. Corey Davis getting that guy back at some point. He got hurt again in practice, was out for this game. Again, that to me is where we're going to see it, but I do think he gets better from here for sure. Absolutely. All right, let's go through a couple more comments here on the post-game show. Do you think MCJ, the offense, plays better? I'm assuming that's Michael Carter. Yeah, I'm not sure. If you're in the chat, make sure you clarify, but I believe that's Michael Carter, unless I'm missing that better. I'm not sure. But I do think the offense plays better with Michael Carter in the game, yes. If that's who you're talking about, yes. I do think they do play better, but again, they're going to have to figure it out in the meantime. How did we do? Just got on break. Well, Big Green, I'll tell you this, from Boy Green to Big Green, we got the win. The defensive line erupted. It was fantastic. Zach Wilson looked better at the end of the game, got hurt a little bit in the game, but never missed a snap. Really was just communication on the sideline. Again, we'll hear from Saleh after the game if that's anything serious. But the Jets get a win, and they looked spectacular doing it. I think there was a lot of wow plays to take from this one. Does the kid Walter that came out of nowhere have some game? He has some quick. He does have some speed. What really hurt him, if you guys remember the name, back in the preseason, I think it was against the Giants, he had an immediate fumble when he came in the game, and whoop! Again, it's a short hook in the preseason, only 3 preseason games. Got to make something happen. Unfortunately, he did it in a negative way, which kind of got him out in the doghouse, never recovered, ended up getting cut. But could be very interesting. Let's go to, B2B111079. Can't give this guy a break. He looked awful, and all the other quarterbacks we've run out all season have looked serviceable to very good at times. I've never seen him play like that. Again, think about the guys who have come out, people. Josh Johnson, a 13-year NFL veteran. He should look good. Joe Flacco, former Super Bowl MVP. He should look good. Now, Mike White, that's a fair point. Is that Mike White? But I think there was a sense of surprise. Cincinnati had no tape on him, and it was just kind of sprung out there. And he didn't really do anything spectacular. He had 3.7 air yards per attempt, which means you just dumped the ball off. So it's not like he was ripping it down the field. So to me, again, I think you just need to see a bigger sample size. We all do, quite frankly, to judge. I'm not saying he's great. I'm not saying he's terrible. I think we have to see. We need more tape. To me, tape will prove it. The more games you play, the more we will see. Like for Sam Darnold, right? The 30-something games, we can't just keep saying, well, we haven't seen enough. Well, it's 30-something games. I mean, eventually you have to just judge on what's there. To me, Zach Wilson's 7th start. Let's see some more action. I'm not ready to go crazy yet. Let's go with a couple more comments here. Let's go to Michael. What do you think the disconnect is between Moore and Wilson? Why don't they gel as well as Moore did with all the backups? I will also say this for people who forget. Moore gelled phenomenal with Zach Wilson in the summer. From people inside the Jets building, from beat reporters, and everyone I talked to that was watching these practices said, Wilson and Moore were like the second coming of who knows what, whatever analogy you want to use. These two were like this. I think, quite frankly, again, I don't want to make too overreactionary of a take here. I think, quite simply, they just haven't gotten a lot of action together. Think about it. Even when Wilson's been practicing the past couple weeks, outside of this week where we knew he was the starter, he hasn't gotten a lot of reps in a long time. It's been a month since he's been able to play, and only within the last couple of weeks he's been able to practice. So I wouldn't go too crazy here. They were able to work him into the game, so I wouldn't go crazy with that. In terms of more in the backups, I think it's a combination of both. They know what they're doing, so they don't have to learn as much. Flacco knows what to do, get the ball. Josh Johnson knows what to do, get the ball out. So I think that's part of it, quite frankly. And the other part is Elijah Moore just learning the playbook, getting more confident and swagger and all that. So I think it is as well. Braden, I did not think we saw P. Ryan. I will double check the snap count here in a second, but I do not believe. I think P. Ryan was inactive for this one. He did not, according to the stats and analytics I have in front of me, no LaMichael P. Ryan in this game. I do believe, again, I think he did not play. I think it was a healthy scratch once again. Let's see. Let's keep looking here. Oh, yes. Let's get to this, obviously. And, Mike, I can't believe we've gotten this far without doing it, maybe because of win. Matt Amendola, you can walk home from Houston. You're a scrub. You're out of here. See you later. There's just been far too many misses. I get it. He's a rookie. And it was a cool story week 1 where Braden Mann gets hurt. And, by the way, Braden Mann, 29-yard shank. Nice job, pal. But, again, getting back to Amendola, is that, it's just been too much inconsistency. It's time to hit the eject button. It's over. Thanks for making the field goal at the end, but too late. The 42-yarder was the pivot point, not this other field goal you made. I mean, that was huge. It made it a touchdown game that the worst Houston could have done was tie the game, but it's just enough. Amendola stinks. See you later, pal. Bye-bye. Hasta luego. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. You're out of here, pal. Terrible. Absolutely god-awful. And, man, if they get rid of Braden, man, I'm going to be pissed because they had Thomas Morstead, who was great, and he just signed with the Falcons. So if you move on from Mann, which I don't think they will do, if they moved on from Mann, then you're like, whoa, what were you doing there? I think that could be as well. Good with the OC. Yep, Michael Ford, great game. So huge shout out to him. Not sold on the head coach or quarterback, but can't give up on those two yet. Absolutely, Mike. Again, you absolutely cannot. It is far too early for that. But I do like, again, how the team responded. The big thing for me was that, again, the Texans were up 14-3, and it was the precipice of a blowout. Like, oh, boy, the offense can't get going. The defense, who's playing well, we've seen those opportunities in the past where the defense is playing so great, keeping them in the game. But eventually, if the offense doesn't deliver their end, the defense eventually just gets gassed out, and they lose. So that was inspirational. Let's go to Simcha. He takes too many sacks and rollouts need to use his feet more. 100%. I am all for that. I don't know if the PCL strain affected some of those design rollouts and things to try to simplify the game plan. Again, I think as we go more weeks on, there's no longer an excuse, but I do think that's a strength of his game. Thomas, agree. Again, defense is the reason we won today. No question about it. Jay Callie Carter. Every time Zach throws the ball, I hold my breath. That's fine. I'm not quite there. I hold it out of excitement. I don't have oh my God, I hope this isn't a pick. I had that feeling and thoughts at the end of the Sanchez era, which is a horrible place to be, obviously, when you're quarterback, the guy the franchise is supposed to trust and everything else. But for me, I am not having that with Zach Wilson yet. And quite frankly, neither should you. It's too early for all that. For me, for Sanchez, took a couple years. Thomas, Zach Wilson stopped blocking on one of the receivers. I didn't sense that as much in this game. Maybe I'll have to go back and watch the tape on this one. I know we did that a lot with Corey Davis. I did not sense that in this one. Again, Michael, you're right. Amendola got to go. And, man, I think it's going to get more chances because, it's been more bad than good, or more good than bad, rather, with Man. And, yes, for Thomas, we should have never let Nick Myers go. You're talking about Jason Myers, the kicker of Seattle. I would go back as far as Nick Folk, who's been phenomenal for the New England Patriots. Why would we let him go? He spent the longest part of his career in the NFL with the Jets during our championship runs and all that success. What happened there? So, that one as well is something to pay attention to. But let's make sure we got through all the notes, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. First off, again, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button on YouTube. We crank out New York Jets content all day, every day. Again, youtube.com. It's right below. youtube.com/BoydGreenshoe5. Please show your support trying to grow up the channel. Again, only New York Jets content. And also, wherever you're watching, hit the follow button on Twitter and hit that like button on the Heavy on Jets page as well. And also, like this stream that I just saw from Braden in here. Please show your support. It makes a huge difference on YouTube. If you're watching right now, hit that thumbs up button. It increases activity level. If you're not on YouTube right now, jump over to YouTube and hit that thumbs up on the live stream. We appreciate the support. Thank you so much, Braden. You're a longtime fan of the channel. Appreciate that. And just kind of going through some final notes here. Again, another shout out to John Franklin Myers. That was great. Some more positivity from Elijah Moore was nice to see as well. Jason Pinnock on that Texans touchdown. Dude, that was terrible. Come on, man. What were you doing there? He kind of lost his footing and allowed the touchdown. That was terrible. Shout out to Mike LaFleur. Zach Wilson started off rusty, but ended very nicely. So there you go. Great from Zach Wilson. Shout out to Austin Walter. And shout out to each and every one of you. And I hope you guys had a happy Thanksgiving. I've been on a little mini vacay, had a baby shower over the weekend, just came back today from Massachusetts. I got up nice and early to make sure I made it back for the Jets game. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. And celebrate a Jets win. It's Victory Sunday right now. We'll celebrate a Victory Monday tomorrow. Again, make sure you stay tuned to the channel. Up next for the Jets is a trip back home, of course, but to play the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll have a Philadelphia Eagles insider join us on the channel this week to preview that one, and I hope you guys can all stay tuned for it. So enjoy the W, everybody. The Jets get the win, and I'll see you on social media in between. Thanks, everybody. Go Jets!